So this is a session to wake you all up after your long networking, coffee, chocolate mousse break. And what's particularly enjoyable about this session that makes it different from many other project scenarios is, and I think this is it was both the challenge of Protect and the wisdom of the Commission to have the CSA be followed up by a PCP call in rapid time. So the words you see in the title here, exploitable results, really does have some true meaning for this particular experience. And I can say that without tongue in cheek, because what we've developed in the Protect with this wonderful consortium, and this is a selection of some of the partners, are both tools, network, community platforms that will continue being used after Protect, and it moves into an operational phase, which will be the second panel of this afternoon, which will take you down a journey with the buyers who are going to meet this challenge of how to use latest Earth observation data for climate mitigation and climate adaptation challenges. So there really is a continuity, and our job is to make these assets that have been developed during the Protect actually more robust, more relevant as we move forward. So the panel that can this is the biggest panel here we're going to have. We have 5 chairs. We brought extra chairs in for you. So first of all, I'd like to welcome my colleague Melissa, who she's an innovation specialist, and particularly important, and because it's the final event, I can be a bit more, let's say, reminiscent. Almost 3 years ago, Melissa said, "There's this great call on PCP," and I said, "What? Never heard of it. No, I don't understand it." And the truth is, I'm glad I listened to her, and I'm glad I listened to some of the partners, in particular Aerospace Valley, and said, "Yeah, let's do this." And we did, and we're coming to the end, but the end is just the new chapter. Part of that team at the time, Joanna Roscoe, you from Aerospace Valley, you're the space expert, and you're one of France's largest clusters based in Toulouse and Bordeaux, but really gave us insights to the company and the service providers, the Earth's observations. And so she'll tell us a bit about that exploitation asset. If we where's my moderator from first session? Stefka, doesn't need an introduction, but I'll give you one anyway. We were very pleased to have you and Tam Tam from Climate Kick and EIT. Extremely important European network, and it's part of a bigger family, as we know, and it certainly helps the Protect project assets get higher visibility and also other project opportunities. And the reason we have these, in this room here, the 4 partner projects, there are cross-links between the different projects, and Valorada is a very good example. We're going to have some gender balance. Paolo, if you want to join us on the stage, from Vicostima, giving us some reality check in terms of what SMEs can actually deliver for Earth observation and potentially linked to the procurement challenges that regions. And to carry on with a non-gender balance, Matti van Slatten from Corvus. We wouldn't have been able to do this project without the insights from Corvus, the legal regulation, the reality check that you and your colleagues, Annalisa and Stephen, brought to us. So I'm very proud to have you as colleagues and team members. So, and I mean that. It's been a real team effort. 24 months for a CSA is not easy, especially when we have a PCP breathing down our neck. But the journey is halfway. So you've got a good selection of the project partners. A couple of others who aren't on this panel, our friends from URADA. I don't know if I can see Yip in the back, and Jérôme's been on the front desk helping us, giving us some insights. Some of the, who else is not here? Vitrek, a part of Corvus. The City of Haarlem, Valentina will be joining the last panel, so she'll better present herself, but as one of the buyers, and again, giving us new insights into new networks, and it's been a pleasure to join you in Haarlem for many reasons. And our friends, ISMA Institute, I think we had the questions earlier from you today. So a European consortium, nothing unusual there, but a complementary set of knowledge and actors that hopefully have prepared the ground and the challenges that lie ahead in PCP Wise. So in terms of the process, I mean, a number of you have attended previous meetings of this. I don't want to take too much time, but the challenge was to create a group of buyers that would be challenging the consortium to meet what are their likely needs in terms of climate mitigation, adaptation, using the Earth observation. And I liked your remark, as Himmler this morning, when you said it's not just looking from the sky, it's also looking from the ground. And we were very much aware of that. Earth observation is both, in the cities, in the water, but also using the top-down satellite, but there's a lot happening on the ground. So that is part of the overview that Protect. And I think we were very much motivated by the inputs from the public buyer community, right from the very first workshop we held in Barcelona, when we had cities immediately saying, these are our problems, these are our challenges, please help us address them. And we hope by, when you look at the Protect leaflet, you've got these challenges, the 4 big challenges, water management, water flooding, infrastructure, and sort of the environmental risk of whether it's natural fires or chemical-based fires. And they are the core messages that we've managed to gather from them. So all of that means that we can now give you some more insights into the real exploitable assets. We've seen this slide in many versions today already. These are more the technical terms that you find in any CSA, but what we're going to talk about here in particular is the disseminate and exploit, because not only will the project results of Protect carry on through the PCP Wise, which we hopefully will take place later this year, but also through the other network that some of you represent. And we had a very good exploitation workshop in URADA's office in Brussels. Remind me, Melissa, what month was that? March, there you are. Having young people who can remember things with you. And there we saw, whether it was Earth, whether it was like Annalisa said this morning, that ability to work in a network is important not just for us, but for the Commission. And I think we're all aware of the need for continuity. It helps SMEs, it helps local authorities, it helps networks gain visibility and avoid reinventing the wheel. There's no point starting with a blank sheet of paper every 2 years. So that's, very important. One other highlight of the project perhaps is the ability for us to offer, and the colleagues will explain that, some technical coaching, training. It's like almost academy type work that enables people to get the skills, the skill sets necessary to implement PCPs and to understand as they are not the most straightforward procurement processes, but they perhaps, as we heard from Liv Voss this morning, are essential for European competitiveness. For the Americans and spending 60 billion and we're on 16 billion, there's a huge difference in how research and innovation budgets can actually drive the competitiveness of our companies. So I think there's some nice experiences from Protect that can carry on in other projects. So this is what we were working towards. The call that the Commission closed in February this year, and we know the results are under analysis. I won't say anything more about that. So, what is this lovely panel going to tell us about? The first point, and Melissa will deal with the community of public buyers. These are people who are either experienced, like our friends from the city of Helsinki, who are, on 5, 6, 7 PCPs, and they are working, or Harlem, or they are newcomers, and part of the community were people looking for the first time how they can use their public money for that. The catalogue of Earth observation SMEs, service providers, it is something that's an asset. It will be used to support the PCP Wise, but it also is a shop window for other SMEs, and Joanna will tell us about how that particular resource can be used and shared. Then we'll talk a bit about the toolkit of resources that will be updated and maintained, and the future recommendations, the future action. So that's enough for me. I think if I pass the clicker along, Melissa will start the ball and grab a microphone as you speak, and I'll try and turn mine off. So over to you. Yeah.
Test? Yes, it's working. Thank you, Mark. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to present a bit of our work today, though I much prefer to be working in the shadow usually and leave my colleagues in the spotlight. Today I'm here to present you this community of buyers that we worked so hard to form over the past 2 years. And we are very happy also that in the next session, some of the buyers that we worked with will be there to present the challenges that they agree to work on together and to put in this application, and the different use cases also. But the community is not, let's say, cannot be summarized only by the group of buyers who have decided to submit this application. It also includes other buyers which participated in the different activities that we conducted in the project. Many activities, as you will see in the second. And as Mark said, some were more experienced, more advanced when it comes to Earth observation. Some others were more advanced when it comes to innovation procurement. Others more aware about what climate adaptation is, and with already more advanced climate adaptation plans and strategies. And others were just here to, raise their awareness and get information about what is a PCP. So this community is very varied, and I'm going to present it to you now, so you can see, you can have an overview of the type of organizations and the countries that we had. So first thing first, what did we do to create this community? Well, many things. We started with lots of promotion, so we've been in lots of events. Mark mentioned the Smart City Expo World Congress that most of you, I'm sure, know very well. It was a very, very high-level event and a great setup for us to build the project visibility and to already engage with a lot of cities, regions, but also with providers, and to let them know that we are starting this work and we would very much like to have them on board. So lots of events, conferences, EXPANDEO last year, EXPANDEO again this year, but also online events, workshop, the European Week of Regions and Cities, and so on and so on. So we have made many deliverables. If you are interested to know exactly to which events we participated, that is available on our website. The second piece of activity that we organized, and that was a lot done by my colleague over here, Stefka, but also Tam Tam from Climate Kick, is about trainings and workshops. We developed, I think, 10 training webinars. These training webinars are also available on our website. We have a deliverable dedicated to that, and so we organized a webinar for each of the training that we developed. And so lots of buyers, of course, were the main target audience for those training, but providers were also invited to join those trainings because they were also made and designed for them. We conducted several surveys that was mainly for the purpose of identifying the needs of the buyer to first map the challenges that European regions face, but there was also a piece of work made by Climate Kick also in analyzing, like Tam was mentioning this morning during the very first panel discussion, about mapping the different challenges in all the EU regions. And that's a huge piece of work, which I believe is something that can be useful to other projects in their future work. So in this context, we conducted surveys, and so that's how we also connected to new buyers, new public authorities, whether they were from the very local, regional, or more central national levels. The also important tool that we used in the Protect project was the community platform. So we decided to create a dedicated space, a safe space, only reserved for the buyers. So this platform was restricted to public buyers only in order to provide them this safe space where they can exchange about their needs, about their challenges, also to push materials to them, whether they were capacity building materials, the training webinars, all the resources that we have produced in this context were made available on this community platform. So that was also an activity that we heavily promoted throughout the project and that we really used in order to attract new buyers in the community. Finally, and very importantly, the main and most important activity was the open call that we launched through our website and that we massively promoted on the social media, the LinkedIn page, the Twitter, the website, in order to let the outside world know that this PCP project is there and that we are here to help if you are interested to join and to form a consortium with other public buyers. You are at the right place at the right time and we're here to support. So that was also the last activity that we conducted in order to form, grow and expand always this community of buyers. At the end, we are now at the end of the project. This is the last month of the project, and we managed to gather a community of 120 public buyers. So all these 20 public buyers have taken part in all these activities that I just mentioned today. And out of these 120 public buyers, we managed to gather 12 buyers who joined forces to submit an application to the PCP call, and that you will, we don't have the 12 buyers with us, unfortunately, today. It would have been ideal, but we have 4 of them. Some of them are in the audience now, and they will take part in the very last panel discussion after our presentation, and you will be able to hear about this application a little bit in more detail. So 120 buyers, and who are they? So I'm going to talk about their organization, where they're from. So as you can see on the slide, there's a very large majority, 76 of them represent the regional and the local levels. So they are basically cities, regions, municipalities, or communities of commune. This is more French, but they are also part of our community. And the people who represent these authorities can be very different. They are public buyers, but soon in the project we also realized that we should not only work with the buyers, but we should also work with other technicians in public authorities. Those who are in charge of climate adaptation policies, Earth observation or environmental observation policies, smart cities policies. All these people needed to be connected and needed to be to exchange to each other in order to discuss what is the real challenge in their organization and what is the real need that they need to formulate for the PCP. So not only we had very different organizations from the regional local level, but also from the national level, which represent 38 organizations of our community. We had also a very small number of private companies which have a public mandate and a private entity operating on the basis of special or exclusive rights. And lastly, we have one public authority which is also at the EU level. So majority of local and regional and together with national level public organizations. Now, in terms of geographical coverage, I am personally very proud of this figure, this graph, because I think if not all the EU member states, we cover a large majority of the EU member states. Some, of course, more represented than others. But all in all, we have almost all the EU member states represented in this community. France is very well represented, together with Italy, the Netherlands, of course, Spain as well, Slovakia. At some point, we had a stronger focus on Western European countries, but I think it was a year ago, we realized that we needed also to make a little bit more outreach activity towards the Eastern European countries, and so we did. And we managed to get on board some representative from Slovakia, from Slovenia, from Greece. You will see that in the PCP Wise group of buyers, we even have a public buyer from Greece. And we also managed to onboard public authorities and procurement organizations from non-EU countries, from Albania, Armenia, Australia, Norway, even the Philippines and Serbia. So it's really traveled, the PCP preparation process traveled way beyond the European Union, and we are very happy about that. I can always also say that those people, those organizations which are represented in our community participated not in just one activity that we did, but in several activities. So that can really witness or testify of their commitments in the project and their belief that this project would lead to a successful project later on. Also, I'm not sure if it has been mentioned already, but it's clearly written on the flyers that you have on the chairs. We focused in the very beginning of our work by analyzing challenges and needs in broad application domains. So we decided to focus on 5 application domains, being agriculture, forestry, and other land uses, sustainable urban communities, civil security and protection, marine and coastal environments, and energy and utilities. Of course, we didn't choose those application domains out of the blue. We selected them because they are very much aligned with the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, with the Green Deals, but also with the work that our predecessor project did, whether it is the FIRE project, whether it is eShape. All these projects have and EARTH also is focusing a lot on these sectors. So it has been identified in the past that those sectors would be very promising and applicable for the development of a new innovative solution. So as you can see, the 120 procurers in our community, or procurement organizations in our community, because procurers are even more numerous, all show a quite balanced interest for all the 5 domains, with a slightly stronger interest for the sustainable urban community domain. Of course, this domain can also encompass or cut across the other domain as well, so that may be the reason why, but for the rest, the other 4, it's quite balanced, as you can see. So what's next for the community of buyers now that the project is coming to an end? Well, we had this platform that I mentioned earlier, the Protect Community Platform. I'm going to explain what we're going to do with this in a second. But first, it has been said quite a lot, and I don't want to spoil what you will hear in a second in the next panel discussion, but the PCP Wise is the main results. The PCP Wise application is the main result of our project. It's the consortium of the group of buyers who prepared this application for the PCP project later on, and we're waiting, we're crossing fingers, but we hope that it will be a successful one. So of course, this group of buyers is not just working on their own. They are supported by other technical partners, and it is also foreseen in this project to have a stakeholder observatory group. So for those of you or the other people, other colleagues that you may know and who may be interested in following the work of the PCP Wise PCP project later on a bit more closely, well, they can join the stakeholder observatory group if they wish, and so if that's the case, well, feel free to reach out to me or to one of my colleagues here today, or directly to the PCP Wise buyers that you will meet right after. About the Protect community platform, so it is a screenshot on the left side of the screen. So this is what the Protect community looks like. This will remain, it will be maintained, but it will take a slightly different form. Why? Because as I said previously, this platform was, during the project, restricted only to public buyers. And during the project, we saw and we noticed that providers, SMEs, were very much interested in connecting with the buyers. So because we wanted to respect the privacy of the discussion of buyers, we could not really open up this community to SMEs and service providers during Protect, but we intend to do so in the future. So we have already started to migrate the Protect community platform into another platform, which is a bit wider, a bit bigger in terms of participants, and it's actually a platform which gathers several communities touching upon different thematic. So as you can see on the right side of the screen, this platform is called Enrich Global Community Platform. Enrich Global is an association that GAC is a member of, and it's also a founder of. And basically we decided together with other partners to create this association in order to provide a platform for European projects to continue living and to continue making sure that the results of this project continue being alive and being useful and exploited in the future. And that's what Enrich Global do. And as you can see, the Protect logo is already there. So we started shifting slowly the community of buyers onto this new platform, and we will continue doing so in the future with the PCP Wise participants that we will continue onboarding in the future, hopefully. But we're also, and I'm going to finish on that, sorry if I'm taking a bit long, but we're going to also make sure that our buyers, the 120 buyers that we worked with, are also provided with the opportunity to join other relevant external communities, which are very important. And we have identified 3 very important ones. You've heard about, I think, at least 2 this morning. The first one being Eurogeo. I think Franz earlier mentioned Eurogeo and the action groups of Eurogeo, which are working on different thematics, with whether it is climate, marine, energy, disaster resilient societies. You can look up on their website and have a look at what the action groups are doing, and if you are eligible or not to take part of these action groups. The second one is the EU Mission Adaptation Community Platform, which is also a very important one. I know that if not all the projects which are showcased in the back of the room today are part of, I'm 100% sure that at least 2 or 3 of them are. And this platform is also providing a great setup and a great space for different EU projects and different stakeholders active in the climate adaptation field to exchange good practices, to exchange experience and good practices. And the very last one is really focused on public buyers and on public procurement. It's the DG Grow's community of public buyers. It hosts different also working group, let's say, focusing on different thematics. You have one about green procurement, another one is dedicated to big buyers, so very large procurement organizations. You have one dedicated to AI procurement, so do not hesitate to let me know if you have questions about these communities. I can guide you through them and I can connect you to them, or you can just, when you receive the slides, because by the way, the slides will be shared with all of you, go on the links which are on the screen and you can go and check them out on your own. I think that's my last slide. Yes.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. Before Joanna takes us through the what we call the e-catalog, I think that last slide shows how the dissemination exploitation assets can be pursued not only in our PCP journey, which is very important, but also to other initiatives that have other thematic focus, other networks, and to actually create, 1 + 1 = 3, if not 5, because it's a case of avoiding the need for people to fill in one platform, then fill in another platform, that one dies, and they have to fill another. We're trying to keep that continuity, and the Enrich platform is a good example where lots of European projects see the need for continuation, but don't necessarily have the resources. So this is one way of keeping it going even beyond the end of PCP Wise. So I think that's an important asset that Protect can deliver. So another really important part of the Protect work was to find out, what do the Earth observation communities / companies offer, and it comes under the lovely title e-catalog. But Joanna from Aerospace Valley can tell us a bit more about that.
Thank you so much. It's very nice having you all. We are super happy. So I'm going to present to you how we managed to arrive to this e-catalog and what will be the plans with it after the project will end. First, I'm going to give you an overview of the key results that we managed to gather throughout the project. At the same time, I'm going to explain you the methodology as well as the expected value of the results and the outcomes. And as well, I'm going to show you the feedback that we managed to gather. So, as you can see, there are a lot of numbers right here. We managed throughout the last 2 years to identify more than 350 Earth observation services on European Union level, from which a total number of companies is 247. At the same time, we had an online survey that we've been disseminating around together with the partners in Protect, but also together with the partners of Protect, which received more than 180 answers from 175 services that have been identified suitable for the goals of Protect. At the same time, the total number of the companies that filled in the survey is 124. And as well, we conducted a desk research from which we identified 181 different services. And all the catalog is being formed out of 139 services. At the same time, the e-catalog is being on the community management platform, as Melissa has mentioned, and it is for the moment restricted only to the public authorities involved in the project. We decided to do this due to the sensitive information that the providers have decided to share together with the public authorities in order to help them out to get more familiar with the Earth observation services. Because in the beginning, as Melissa mentioned, we focused a lot on helping out the public authorities to get more familiar with the knowledge that is linked to this type of activities, as well as of understanding how these climate services could help them out in order to tackle the climate change challenges. So we managed to arrive to these numbers through multiple methodologies. We combined the desk research, where we computed the information that are available online, and it was complemented with an online survey where we help with the help of the space agencies, but also SABIC networks, together with organizations such as ERSC, as EURISI, as Nereus as well, help us out to spread the online survey in order to target the right companies that are focusing on the 5 application domains. At the same time, we complemented these two methodologies with a scouting, because throughout the project we have identified a very specific need where the company was not very easy to find. So we had to do a scouting through different events where we have been attending in order to identify potential services that are already on the market or could be potentially go on the market that are tackling the needs in the frame of the project. And as well, we offered interviews. We conducted more than 100 interviews with several providers in order, first of all, to give them insights regarding what we are doing in Protect, why Protect is being conducted, as well as to give them more insights about what PCP is, because As you might already have noticed, on the public authority side, while PCP can be considered as a familiar subject, in the provider side, it's not that familiar. So we had to make sure that the providers are perfectly aware of all the informations and that they are completely clear regarding what they are submitting to by joining the project. So this online catalog has been produced in order, first of all, to give an overview to the public authorities, to see what kind of services there are on the market, to see as well if their needs can be already tackled. But at the same time, the idea of the catalog was as well to create awareness among the PCP providers, about the PCP among the providers, as well as to give an input to the state-of-the-art analysis that has been conducted in the frame of the open market consultations. And this online catalog has been also considered as a base for orientation papers that have been produced to give insights to different stakeholders as well. So the 4 orientation papers that have been created are being considered guides and guidelines to provide insights regarding investments, but also to give a guidelines to the suppliers regarding the potential needs and how to get more in touch with the public authorities in order to discuss more, to interact more, as well as a guide to private investors to give them an overview towards where the market is going to, but also to give an analysis of the data gap. Because throughout this process, we identified that there's a huge need among the providers in order to provide the services that you should be able to use, the public authorities. Sometimes there's not enough data available for them to actually help you out. So the idea with this online catalog is that after the ending of the project, we are planning to share it with multipliers or with organizations such as ERSC, Eurisia as well, to be featured to multiple stakeholders. And for the moment, even though it's not publicly available to everyone, we are actually working on it right now with to gather the approvals from the providers to share with you the data that they are having and as well what kind of data that they are having. So throughout the last perhaps 18 months, I would say, or so, we also had this online survey open for the providers to join the providers community created in the frame of Protect. So just so you know, because earlier I just had a discussion with someone from a company as well. The online the form is still open till the end of June. So in case you would like to join, please just reach out and we will help you out with it. Thank you so much. And I think that now I will pass to
that last point was important, Joanna, and I'm glad you made it, that the process of either pushing SMEs from your networks or the SMEs in the room, if you want to be part of the catalogue, who will be informed as a priority on the PCP Wise, the calls, and be able to follow those opportunities. So there is an advantage in you being part of the catalogue. Now, Stefka has a wonderful title, Climate and Earth Observation Orchestrator. I can just see you in your office organizing the planets and things, but someone has to do it. But you were in charge of the toolkit, and as Melissa said, the capacity building actions, the training videos, the training webinar, important part of what Protect was about. So maybe you can share some insights.
Indeed, that's where I would like to start from, Mark. Thank you very much. So the capacity building was very much a team effort, and it's been maybe it's the best opportunity. I'll have to thank the whole consortium because it's been 2 very pleasant years of working together, and I'm very proud of being here sharing the results with everyone. But indeed, when we come back to Protect, if there are 2 things that were important for Protect, these were indeed the capacity building and the awareness raising. As you know, we have anticipated, we have been talking about and raising awareness about pre-commercial procurement in view of the coming call from the Commission, but also, and maybe more importantly, more broadly, because the role of Protect is to put up any sort of information material in different formats and contents that could be useful for anyone that may at some point benefit from pre-commercial procurement. What you know is that Protect is also operating in these 3 very specific pillars of Earth observation, or environmental observation, if you wish, climate adaptation services and pre-commercial procurement, which per se are 3 very already complicated topics. So combining them has been very pleasant challenge, but nonetheless a challenge for all of us. This I can say. So one of the results where you can clearly see the results and some of the work that we have done under Protect is the toolkit. That's what we call the Protect toolkit. I will tell you a little bit more about the content of the toolkit, but also of the form it takes. You would see this QR code throughout my presentation. If you access it, that's where you'll find a mock-up to the toolkit. I would come back to that. And also there is printed QR codes at the desk outside. So we can also have a look into that. So the content is what we had as a KPI projects because, you know, we live and learn by KPIs. We had this KPI to have 50 Protect, Mate and other resources, but we ended up with maybe over 70, I believe, because at the end of the day, we tried to provide similar information in different shapes. For instance, a lot of the information we have that is Protect Made, it comes from deliverables, but we were not quite living under the illusion that people would go and download and read through deliverables, although we all wish that's what you read before you go to sleep. But in case that's not the case, we took quite some work with the help of a lot of colleagues to go through the deliverables and try to make relatively small and concise 1, 2, 3, 4 pagers for very concrete results, and try to maybe then explain how this may connect to something else. So this is the type of content you would find in the toolbox. Something else that we did is that we also went through all sorts of European projects and initiatives on the topics and collected some of the available materials from there. We took quite some information from the EA-FIP framework that was very informational for procurement. We took some information from Climate Europe and Marco and other projects on climate services. And we took some information also from past year Earth observation projects. When it comes to the form, you would see that we're coming from quite far, but what we have today is a prototype booklet version, which is what you would see if you scan the QR code. It's a prototype of what you would be able to find in the website, I would say, at the end of the month, more or less. But it's all these materials that have been categorized by potential users, by potential interested party in them, by topic that they consider, and also the type of environment, so that we can make the browsing more pleasant. And talking about the browsing more pleasant, I would maybe go ahead one slide. Hope I don't forget that one, and that's where we started from. So what we started from is this very long list of materials, because we did have a lot of materials, but it did take us quite some time to go through that and rationalize them and try to brainstorm about who are the potential interested parties and how we can pretty much please everyone and sometimes package the same information differently so that it hits the right stakeholder. An intermediary stage was we went out and we looked into what was already there. So some of the things we took inspirations from are the resource library of the preceding project, which is a sister project of Protect, and also the sustainability booster of eShape. You heard about eShape a couple of times this morning. I'm sure you've heard about eShape before. You'll hear about it more. It was a great project, but it was these 2 things that are inspiring us, and that is something similar to what we are aiming at to have. However, if you go to the QR code, this is what we have now. It's this booklet that what it would provide you now. it's quite some more pages of this, but they all look like that. It's indeed, as I told you, what are the materials, where you'll be able to find them, and who are they aimed for. And in a couple of weeks, you would have that in much more user-friendly and electronic format. So when it comes to format and what and how things look, that's it. And now if I go back to this slide, I would like to very, very briefly talk to you a little bit about which is the information that you would find in the booklet. So we have done quite some analysis over the past years. So what we did is, for instance, the Protect taxonomy of climate services, which is where we took different taxonomies of climate services and Earth observation services, including the Earth taxonomy, the USPA market report taxonomy, and some taxonomies at European level for climate services, try to cross them so that we can see how can we classify climate services when it comes to for the interest of Protect. We analyzed the existing climate services in the different domains of Protect. We started with 5 domains. We eventually narrowed down to 4 climate challenges. We went through the adaptation strategies of NUTS 2 and NUTS 3 level of 13 European countries, which was a sizable amount of work that my colleagues were leading, so thank them for that. And then we managed to cross this information with other parameters, for instance, the analysis of European policies that could influence pre-commercial procurement or climate services in the next couple of years, and the e-catalog that you just saw. We also analyzed that with the needs from public buyers that were identified throughout the project, but mostly during the Pain Points webinars. I think Matthew will tell us something more about them later. So what we came out with is a few showcases of some recommendations where we recommended that, for instance, potential project could be launched and could be focused. We also have policy briefs and a lot of other materials. So if you have the time, I would recommend you to scroll through the toolbox, and I'm sure that you would find something that you would be interested for. And we have really aimed at providing an information in the most understandable level, which has not always been very easy for us, because a lot of the time the subjects we have tackled have been very technical. And as I said, we've operated in this cross-section of Earth observation, climate services, and PCP. So it's very difficult, if not close to impossible, for one to be experts in 2 or even 3 of these. So I'm sure you'll find something interesting for yourselves. And that may be anything on my side. So thank you very much for your attention. I'll be happy to answer questions later if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefka. I think one of the interesting points that was on one of those slides is the work that the consortium did on looking at the PCP and innovative procurement regulations in 12 countries, because often we see the need to implement projects at your regional, national level, and that will be the first check your procurement service will do before they worry about the European level. So 12 countries can give you a quick insight to where can you find the PCP-friendly guidelines for your country, and I think that was part of the toolkit. So moving forward, Paolo and Matti, you're going to give us some sort of insights to sort of the recommendations of and way forward that the procurement and community and the technical community can take Protect resources forward. So hopefully you've got the clicker. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mark. So we're going to talk a bit about the guidance and recommendations for future actions. And I'm going to go through them quite quickly because I think we're running out of time a bit. So I'll try to go a bit quick through all of the slides. But so I'm going to take you along the 4 challenges and how did we get to them, because initially there were quite a lot of challenges. And this incorporates the needs definition and the market research. So give you some insights there, and also in the next steps, which are the business case and the procurement strategy, and the recommendations for the future PCP. So what we did for the needs analysis as one of the basics that we use in preparing a PCP is taking the EFIP methodology that our team from Corvus has created under the EFIP initiative, for which Corvus also is coordinator already since 2015. So there's a toolkit from the European Assistance for Innovation Procurement in which we also developed this methodology, and we used it also within Protect to follow the steps of preparation for a PCP. And within actually this Protect project, we also decided to use some value and lean methodologies for the assessment of the functional needs. So we'll get into that a bit later. And important in that case is also to understand the as-is situation and the desired situation and the gap between that, and how to bridge the gap between the both situations. And then we go from identification and description of the use cases with the end users, which is really important to translate down to an operational level and to translate also to functional requirements. That is also important input for the tender documents. And based upon all the input, there's a definition of the procurement strategy. It's based on the TRL, that's the technology readiness level. That's one of the outcomes of the SOTA, so the state-of-the-art analysis. And then you have the IPR management in the PCP. So those are all important aspects when you look into the preparation of a PCP. So, like I said, for the needs identification and assessment, we used some value engineering approach. So we actually combined different technologies like VSM, the FAST, like the functional analysis system technique, into this needs analysis, and we did some pain point workshops. So we did a pre-study, we did workshops with the public buyers to further identify their need and to fine-tune and to focus on what their specific needs was. And we did a post-study with an analysis and recommendations. And within the 5 pain point workshop, we used these value techniques in order to describe the scope of the problem, so to fine-tune and scope the problems, to develop use cases and functional requirements. So in use cases, you really take everyday life situations and try to translate them into operational impacts. So really translate from a concept perspective to operational level, and which is valuable to have as input for the tender documents and your requirements in your tender document. And then describe the present state and the desired wished future situation. So those are all aspects we took into account when we did the pain point workshops with public buyer, and it created really valuable information to move further from. And it's been already discussed that we have several domains, 5 domains, so we did 1 pain point workshop per domain. And here you see the different domains that the workshop focused on. So then within we had 7 challenges that came out of the pain point workshops, and then we wanted to prioritize. So we wanted to narrow down to 4 challenges that were selected, and we used several criteria. You can read them here. It's about commitment, because of course in order to move forward you need to have a strong commitment from a buyer that's intending also to lead as a buyer. You want interest, not just normal interest, but real commitment to buy. You want that there's a general need to solve this problem. We looked at the expected impact, the technology readiness level of the solution, and the EU-wide network. So there are several criteria in order to select. And finally, we narrowed down the 7 challenges into 4 priorities, 4 challenges, which already also Mark emphasized. So these are the 4. You can see them now. And then these 4 we took and to look more detailed on the state of the art. So that's when you actually look at what's already there on the market as a solution that could possibly solve the problems for these 4 challenges. So per challenge we did a SOTA analysis. And then we looked at intellectual property rights, existing patents, standards. So those are all indications that there's also that there's already been some development on the market. Also some literature, of course, other project information. So there's all kinds of desk research and platforms that you can use to do state-of-the-art analysis. Also the mapping of the commercial off-the-shelf, the products, and also the e-catalog was really helpful. As was a great input also for the SOTA. And yeah, we translated this all into having a sort of a map of what solution is on what TRL level already there on the market. And the conclusion is that the most COTS products, so COTS is commercial off the shelf, so those are solutions already there and used on the market. They're already commercialized and on the market. But the most used are open data platforms such as Copernicus. And we also found that there's research ongoing in fields related to all of the 4 challenges and solution tackling some of the challenges, but no solution there yet to tackle all of the problems. Currently, no relevant standards were available yet for the 4 challenges. So these were important conclusions to draw in order to move forward. And we took those conclusions. The 4th one was also a number of products are available, but can only partially, like I also said in the second bullet, address the gaps and the needs of the procurers. So no overarching solutions were there. So we took the results from the SOTA analysis and also tested this with the market in an open market consultation, which is also one of the steps in preparing a pre-commercial procurement. We had 4 different open market webinars, so consultations with the market suppliers. There was a request for information through an EU online survey. We had also the webinars where we had interactive discussions with suppliers on topics. And we had other activities and questionnaires and also published the Q&A document. And here you can see a short overview of the participants to the OMC, to the open market consultations. And a large part is consisted of startups and SMEs. So we did one open market consultation for each of the identified challenges. And they confirmed the initial assumptions that the functional requirements of the 4 challenges could not be tackled by one solution. So there was no one. So the conclusion, as you want to, the open market consultation is an instrument to see whether there's grounds to actually move on to a PCP, whether there's grounds to go into innovation procurement, or whether there's already a solution on the market you can move further from, or maybe start follow up with a normal PPI, for instance. But here the conclusion was there was room for innovation. And also we found that yeah, we within the providers questionnaire results, we saw that there was a hinting of the suppliers also giving that there was room for combination and integration of data and databases. So there's lots of data already available, but the connection between the data available and how to use it, that's actually, yeah, that's where the gap is also. And also integration and merging of several applications. You have several applications using several data, but the challenge is to combine all and making it currently available information more accessible and interchangeable. That's also one of the goals that we saw as a target that was input through the open market consultation.
Matti, I remember the first word you issued.
To move on quickly. Okay, I will. Okay. So after the open market consultation, we did the business case development, which is the next step. Well, you can see it's actually a cost and benefits analysis. So you look at both quantity and quality from both the cost and the benefits. Actually, the business case, the SOTA, the results for the open market consultation, everything is available openly on the Protect platform. So I invite anyone interested to download the materials and to check. And it's all also been integrated into the orientation paper, which was one of the deliverables. So also there, for interested, you can check it. But main outcome was that the business case for the challenge that was performed was positive. So that's a good outcome. And this was translated into the procurement strategy, which was, it's going back to the needs prioritization. We already had this. I'm moving further because it's sort of overlapping now. So actually the main conclusion from the whole journey of doing the SOTA, the open market consultation, and the business case was that there were grounds for PCP, and so this was all the input was put and processed in the PCP preparation activities. And one of the main results was to choose an overarching water management challenge, clustering the different use cases. So we chose to combine everything into one major overarching challenge and to sort of break down the barriers between the silos, as we talked about, or the bubbles, like Remco mentioned, and to have one solution trying to cover all the use cases and all the different topics and domains, actually, and sectors. So that's in a nutshell. You can read a bit more in the slide on the specifics, but yeah, that's the main conclusion from the procurement strategy. And the next steps is actually to move on to the PCP phase, where there'll be in phases we will further develop the PCP, the solution, having mini competitions in each phase, like you do in a PCP. Yeah, so actually that's the main part of my story, and the main recommendation, as you see here, is to bridge upon and build further upon on all the results that we created during the CSA. And the main thing is that we can use actually all the materials and all the conclusions that we get throughout the CSA as input for the PCP, which is really valuable. So also the idea is to update the state-of-the-art analysis, to update open market consultation and the business case in the PCP again, is in a short version, and from that start the PCP. Okay, now I think
Thanks,
the word is for Paula.
Well, I think the conclusion is that the Protect has prepared the ground for the PCP Wise, but it's also a methodological approach that can be used in other projects that are maybe starting the journey. So there's lots of assets that Stefka mentioned that Matti's taken us through. There's a robust methodology that can be used, but Paolo.
What else?
What else? Indeed. Well, that's what you're going to tell us.
So I think I have to skip the 50-slide version in favor of a more compressed one. So thanks again. Yes, we have been lucky, as I brought it, because we could follow the on-demand consultancy process with some pilot organizations. So imagine that we have selected these few buyers with concrete problem. I don't know, how many buyers are in the room so far that have bought or plan to buy a climate service? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Whoa, so challenging audience. Anyway, as I said, we have been lucky because we follow this parallel pathway in project, We cover Climate Kick, City of Harlem, as a bunch of, so to speak, experts in different topics about acquiring a climate service. We follow and try to tailor this consultancy process on very specific issues. And to do so, we follow this step-by-step approach, one step after the other. And first we did it selecting 6 pilot organizations coming from different countries, all public bodies, but with very different type of organization, regional authorities, municipalities, environmental agency. So different mandates, different problems. One was dealing with floods and air solution, the other with supplying, let's say, AI-powered irrigation system, another creating a digital twin for air quality, so a widespread set of issues. And then, after selecting them, we try to tailor the on-demand consultancy on their specific need, which is, first of all, frame. we try to understand together with them using a framing questionnaire that we prepare, each of us with his own expertise. We are climate service developer as an SME, so we follow more the technical part of the story, resolution of the data, temporal resolution, type of deployment, that techie stuff, no? But also the all important legal and innovation aspect related to procurement, the innovation level of procurement, the existence of alternative. Many things have been touched in this first step, which was intended to let them, these people, the technicians, but not only inside the organization, make a clear idea about what they need. And after that, after this, I'm not bothering you with 20 slides of results of the questionnaire because probably it's not the case, trying to pick up some key messages from this otherwise very specific activity, very tailored activity. I could say that it was fundamental to try to have them prioritize their need, clear out ideas out of the initial mist, no? And in doing this, in trying to prioritize the climate service need, we tried also to make them jump in through this very first initial framing phase into exploring the innovation procurement, because you can imagine not all of them were aware of the potential of this tool, and that was also a first for many of them a first step in. Of course, you cannot dismiss in this phase the techie part of the story, not because of us, but because the nucleus, which is the core, of the climate service requirement, is made of technical requirements. So that was one of the fundamental steps, engage in technical planning, literally, with them, to clarify the tech needs of the climate service, and not overlooking the cost and the monetary, the budget plan of the story, no? So some of the points were devoted to understanding how they did a strategic planning, did they plan a budget, how were they going to do it, if they did any. Last but not least, we try to open an eye on what's already there. And you can see many echoes of the discussion of today and also about what Joanna was saying before. No, there are offerings out there. You cannot necessarily have to develop from scratch everything. So please keep an eye on, let's say, our community. Keep an eye on Copernicus Data Store, which is an upstream climate service in itself from many points of view. No? And at the end of this process, pick 2 examples. That's what we did. We asked them to pick 1 or 2 climate services and start critically analyze them. And why? Because the second step, you can imagine, climbing over a stepwise approach. The second step was, okay, you have picked 2 candidates, even if they are not perfect, even if they don't solve 100% of your problem, then make an analysis in depth on this. We did it through a classical SWOT scheme, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. But then again, we guided them. So we prepared a scheme for that, and we asked them, okay, these are 8 criteria. Pick your example climate service and critically analyze it. What's there? What are the strengths? Or what's already there you could use? What's not there and you need? And what are the opportunities for further development? And here we link with the importance of gaining a new service through a PCP, And also what could be the tricks and the treats on doing that. So we help them brainstorming internally, particularly, not only the techie guys, but technician, administrative. So they had to brainstorm together collectively inside many departments sometimes and reflect on this. Again, not bothering you with the entire outcome of 6 SWOT analysis. Thanks, Matti, because I forgot about that. Thanks, Matt, because too many devices. I'm not that multitasking at this time of the day, to be honest. Just some key message of this round of interaction with these, I would say, motivated people, You have to imagine the 6 pilot pick it up with a clear interest in mind. First, one of the key messages we pick out from this interaction was the importance of leveraging cross-sector collaboration. So these people were eager to understand both from other experience, from the scientific part inside of the project, from similar entities, public bodies that solved issues that could be, let's say, similar to what they did. So this sort of collaborative approach. And then a strong focus on the usability. We have talked, even this morning, about the importance of producing usable climate service. That means that also under an interface point of view, you have to keep in mind who is going to use it, and make it as simple as operational, reactive as possible. To widespread the adoption inside the organization first, because even before thinking that, say, moving outside. Then a strong focus on data quality and integration. With this, I mean the possibility to integrate both their own data. Let's think, for example, about IoT sensors of humidity of the soil, to make an example, no? And upstream knowledge data, the one from Copernicus. Ideally, climate service could act as a link, no? As a chain between these two upstream and really downstream world. Last but not least, of course, let's say, stay tuned and use all this chance, like, for example, the webinars and the workshop to be also the participation and the activity of the organization that we have seen tomorrow, to say, stay linked and stay tuned on the updates, no? On the new opportunities that, for example, Copernicus has to offer. Last but not least, the budgetary and technical challenge, again and again, come as one of the main points to tackle, particularly when it comes to, I would say, invest money in a prototyping phase. Thanks. So, jumping to the very last slide, we did this pathway, we ended this pathway with a face-to-face meeting. So we offer on-demand consultancy, the pilot choose the topic among the many touched, and of course the relevant experts, so to speak, organize this face-to-face meeting to tackle very specific issue. Again, I'm not telling you everything about the very specific topics, but just trying to pick up some key message out of this very last round of interaction, that you will see in these few key points echo of the many topics we have discussed this morning. No? Integration, again, this mantra, integration of ground and satellite data, no? As in order to boost on leverage on what is there, no? And trying to, say, downstream, increase the added value of the upstream information by linking to the local data. The importance of pilot testing, once and more, starting small scale before upscaling, because this is there are not, as Matti was going, necessarily commercial off-the-shelf ready product that you just go and buy. You have to test this before investing a lot of money on that. A few points, and then I've finished. The importance of the user-centric design for climate service. And with user, I don't have in mind the technician inside the office. I have in mind, and they outline the importance of what is the decision-making process triggered by the climate service. If they are intended for the politician to take a decision, then they have a completely different user interface or shape than if they are intended for at least, for example, a technician inside an office. So with user, I mean the decision-making process. Under this point of view, they are, say, synonymous, no? Finally, the importance of the cloud. We have talked about this morning about the huge amount of upstream information that could be translated by the service into value downstream. This means also making this operational, making this really usable, for example, leveraging on cloud-optimized format that could be assessed quickly by the organization, and also on the cloud computing power to deploy the service, to make it really reactive. This is a techie point that came out from many of the discussion. Finally, and here I close, the importance they were really aware of the EU funding as a channel for make a step in. The cascade funding, the entire chain of, let's say, support that comes from the EU schemes, perceived as fundamental to make really this first step in and try to acquire at least a prototype of the service that then can be turned into a more, let's say, finally an operational product. That's more or less from my side.
Thank you, Paolo. I would just like to thank you for that effort in the project, because I think we heard from a number of the projects this morning about the capacity building, bringing people to the area of PCP, and a number of the case studies, the 6, have joined PCP Wise. I take the example of Central Macedonia, who weren't on the radar at all of the project, and they came to the sort of bilateral coaching, and they submitted a challenge to the consortium. So it shows how, by taking them by the hand, step by step, you give people the confidence to go on this journey, which is, not able or not understandable for everybody. So I think all these different assets certainly won't stay in Protect. They are meant to be shared. So I think you've got a good overview.